going on, everyone? There's been a number of changes. I haven't even looked at them all yet. I just saw this on Reddit and saw on the LOL launcher that there was a ton of changes out, so I kind of want to do a little bit of an in-depth analysis. If anybody has questions or wants to see these things for themselves, I'll link the Reddit page in the description, but I'm going to go over all these. So this is the new potion. The old good old red pot is gone and it's been replaced with, I believe, is the refillable potion. Now, I'm going to be showing you a couple types, and you can only get one type at a time. But here's the unique active. Consumes a charge to restore 100 health over 10 seconds. Holds up to 2 charges and refills upon visiting the shop. So that's the new standard potion. It's all pretty basic. No huge changes there. Here it is, the corrupting potion. Here's where it gets interesting. Now, once again, you can only buy one type at a time, and here's the active. Consumes a charge to restore 150 health and 50 mana, kind of like cookies I guess, over 12 seconds and grants Touch of Corruption during that time. Holds up to 3 charges that refills upon visiting the shop, and this costs 500 gold. Now, the Touch of Corruption is spells and attacks burn enemy champions for 5 to 10 magic damage over 3 seconds. Half damage for area of effect or damage over time spells. Damage increases with champion level. Corrupt potion can be used even at full health and mana. Now this is really interesting. I always wanted this because how many times do you get in a fight and you forget to pop the potion as soon as you enter, or you actually can't, or you know, maybe you're just not skilled enough. That's something I dealt with for a long time. This is interesting. You can use this pop before you even enter battle, which is something that I've wanted to do for the longest time, and you get the Touch of Corruption as an additional effect, plus the 150 health and the 50 mana over 12 seconds. This seems great to me, and I'm glad that's in the game. Here's one that's for the jungle, obviously. It's called Hunter's Potion. Unique active. Consumes a charge to restore 60 health and 35 mana over 8 seconds, but it restores less, but you get 5 charges and it refills upon visiting the shop. This is interesting because you don't like have to buy all these potions now for 35 gold. Now they just cost like one huge amount, which is kind of interesting. Killing a large monster grants 1 charge. Killing a large monster at full charges will automatically consume the newest charge. So in theory, this is strictly theory, I haven't tested this yet. If I'm someone like Udyr, I can just keep farming and keep farming and keep farming, whoa, to get my, what's the new item called that restores magic damage on hit? You guys know what I mean. Like to just keep stacking that item without recalling. Of course, you have to go back for items, but that makes jungling seem a lot easier to me. Here's another jungle item, Hunter's Talisman. 150% mana regen while in the jungle. I don't know what this means, and which is why I want to test some of these items out. Does that just mean while I'm in the jungle area, or does that mean while I'm attacking monsters? I believe it means while I'm just in the jungle area, which is kind of interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. Unique passive. Damaging a monster steals 20 health over 5 seconds. Grants 15 bonus experience when killing large jungle monsters. Rengar, Warwick, Vi. That's extremely interesting. Obviously not Rengar because the mana regen. Why would he even want that at an early level? I just said that due to the bonus experience. But that's interesting. 150% mana regen while in the jungle. I instantly think of junglers like an Amumu who needs mana regen, although I believe there's an item later in the game that's even better for junglers like Amumu. Or maybe it is this one. I don't know. It's pretty late. It's 4 a.m. But that seems really good for junglers who rely on mana is what I'm trying to say. Now here's the Caulfield's Warhammer. This is just a random item. I didn't see too much info on this. It gives you 25 attack damage and unique passive is 10% cooldown reduction. You guys will notice in this that cooldown reduction is a lot more prevalent than it is in this season, it at least appears to me. And it's in a lot of items, especially 80 carry type items. So that's there. I don't know if that builds into something. Hey! Executioner's Calling is back. And I've got some good news. This time it finally builds into something, at least I think. The unique passive is called Executioner. Physical damage inflicts grievous wounds on enemy champions for 3 seconds. Okay, I'm an 80 carry guy. I love 80 carries, but I think they might be going a little overboard with the tank shredding in all these new items. And I think you guys will agree with me once you guys see the later items in the cycle. But this is interesting. This is interesting because I like the item that it builds into next. And I think this is really good for ADs. Physical damage inflicts grievous wounds on enemy champions for 3 seconds. What's better than that? And it's not too bad. And here's what it builds into. aka the new Last Whisper, Mortal Reminder. You get your 40 attack damage, and here's the unique passive again, Executioner. Physical damage inflicts grievous wounds on enemy champions for 5 seconds, but here's the passive, Last Whisper. 40% bonus armor penetration. So you have your flat armor that scales up in the game. Let's say you're Darius. Now you buy a Thorn Mail and you have 100 armor. This would only penetrate through that 100 armor that you get from that item. And you're probably asking, what does this do? In my opinion, I haven't done any research on this, but this is for the early game Last Whisper nerf, so it's more prevalent to buy late game. And so that kind of kills the Last Whisper sort of armor pen on Zed for that item, in my opinion. Death's Dance, 65 attack damage, 10 cooldown reduction, there it is again. Dealing physical damage heals for 12% of the damage dealt, 33% effectiveness for multi-target effects, and the unique passive is 20% of damage taken is dealt as a bleed effect over 5 seconds instead. This is great news for us ADs. This is like the anti-Vagar, anti-Brand Burst, anti-Annie weapon. That's essentially what that means to me. It reduces burst. The Dark Seal, 15 ability power, 25% increased healing from potions, interesting, and it gives 100 mana. Unique passive is called Dread. It grants +2 ability power per glory, okay. And the other passive is called Do or Die. Grants 3 glory for a champion kill, or 1 glory for an assist, up to 10 glory total. So that's an extra 20 ability power. Lose 6 glory on death. I don't like items like this. I always know there's, some items like this, in the game right now called Medjai's, and I don't like these because these are risky, but it seems the cost is extremely effective. 400 gold for that is insane, and it's a pretty good item if you think you're going to scale and just keep getting kills and assists and things seem to be going your way. Here's a new support item called Eye of the Watchers. It grants 200 health, 25 ability power, 2 gold per 10 seconds, and 150% mana regen. Here's the interesting part. Spells and basic attacks against champions or buildings deal 15 additional damage and grant 10 gold, blah blah blah. We have that. This can occur up to 4 times every 30 seconds. Consumes a charge to place a stealth ward that reveals the surrounding area for 150 seconds. Wards have been nerfed slightly, but it holds up to 4 charges which refill upon visiting the shop. There it is. There's no more Sightstone in the game. The support item and the Sightstone item have been meshed together. So more items for support, because really Sightstone, it doesn't waste a slot because it's obviously extremely vital and essential, but it gives supports more room to optimize, in my opinion. 40 ability power, 25 magic resist. This is called the Staff of Flowing Water, which is, in my opinion, the most interesting item for a mid laner right now. Restores 2% of missing mana every 5 seconds. Gain 30% movement speed and 10 mana regen per 5 seconds while in the river. Anybody say Kassadin? I mean, this item sounds great on him, and it sounds great on Diana, other mid laners that I'm probably forgetting at the moment. When you're flanking down bot lane, this is a really cool item and really interesting, and something I'm actually hyped to use. Jaurim's Fist, 15 attack damage and 150 health. Killing a unit grants 5 maximum health. This bonus stacks up to 30 times. So what would that be? That would be 150 health. Here's my question. Do you keep that, or does this have to build into something? Because I couldn't tell. There's no other item which really does this. Or when I sell this item, do I lose the unique passive? Because otherwise this item doesn't really seem worth it to me. It's 15 attack damage and 300 health. If I'm a tank, that's not really on my radar. Serrated Dirk, 20 attack damage, unique passive, 10 armor pen. That's flat, not bonus. And the unique passive is, after killing any unit, your next basic attack or single target spell deals 15 damage. An additional 15. So what this means is, if I'm an AD carry in the lane, and I kill a minion, the next attack I do to you is dealing an extra 15 damage plus the additional 20 AD you get from that, plus the armor pen. If this builds into something great, which I think it will be, this is going to be a must-buy. Easily a must-buy. Hunter's Machete, I really like that item. 8% lifesteal versus monsters. Unique passive is called Nail. Basic attacks deal 20 bonus damage on hit versus monsters, and killing large monsters grants 15 bonus experience. Remember in the start of last season where Riot pretty much fucked the junglers and everybody had a hard time jungling? It seems like this season is going to be the season for junglers. It really feels very easy for me, if I'm a jungler right now, to just clear and just keep going and not having to beat. Warrior got a bit of a buff, thank God. 60 attack damage, 10% cooldown reduction, a little bit of an AD buff, which is needed, man, because really there's no incentive to go Warrior. It scales very, very poorly. And Cinderhulk is really the better choice, I would say, at least 80% of the time. The current Warrior is very weak, and I'm glad it got a bit of a rehaul there. So that's a good item. But like I said, the jungle is in a pretty good state at the moment. Here's something interesting. 5 attack damage and plus 3 life on hit. Kind of weird. Killing a minion grants 1 additional gold. Killing 100 minions grants an additional 300 bonus gold immediately and disables this passive. So it grants you 400 gold, and then the passive's gone and you can just sell that. I don't know if this would be... I don't know where this would be. I'm going to have to test this because you get 5 AD and you get the 400 gold. I can hit 100 creeps 11 minutes into the game if I'm really farming. Or maybe even, yeah, about 11 minutes into the game is average. I want to hit 100 creeps. So that's an extra 400 gold, which might make that the essential starting item. Although I think boots and potions, since they're buff, will probably be the best start. 15% attack speed, passive moving and attacking will make an attack energized. Unique passive energized strike. Your energized attacks deal 30 bonus magic damage on hit. What an item. I'm going to be showing an item right now, which I actually know that this builds into. I don't know, but it's a hunch of mine. This seems very strong, especially on an AD like Vayne, who already deals magic damage, and now you're dealing an additional 30 bonus magic damage, plus the moving aspect to it. 30% attack speed, 30% critical strike chance, and 8% movement speed. Moving and attacking will make an attack energized. Your energized attacks gain 35% bonus range, 150 range maximum, and deal 50 to 200 bonus magic damage based on level on hit. Energized attacks function on structures. Jesus Christ, what an item. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video when I said I had an item to be excited about. Think of Kog'Maw. Think about the range on that. His range is 700. He would have around 900 range with this item when his W is maxed. That's ridiculous. That means I don't even have to go around. I could just shoot you from the back of the team on Kog'Maw. This has to be nerfed. Vayne as well. Imagine increasing her range. Ridiculously strong item. Perhaps the strongest in the game. I'm telling you, for 80 carries, that will be it. Eye of the Equinox. This is the tank support item. 500 health and 100% base health regen. Blah, blah, blah. All the same. All this is the tank item for support. Now the Sightstone is merged with it, like I said earlier. And that's interesting. That is very interesting. Because as Thresh, a lot of the time, I know I want to replace my support item and the Sightstone. And it's funny because I was wondering if they were going to fix this, because it is very annoying having the support item and the Sightstone item late game. Of course, the red Sightstone maxed. And this is an awesome change. I like this change a lot. Like I said, it gives a lot more itemization for support and just opens up the game more, because you're not going to be limited to pretty much, 4 slots? I mean, with boots, so, hey man, I'm all for that change. Giant Slayer. R.I.P. Mundo. 10% attack damage. Giant Slayer grants up to 10% damage against enemy champions with greater maximum health than you. 1% damage per 50 health difference, maxing at 500 health difference. I'm unsure. I think this builds, yes, this builds into the next item, which I'm about to show you. And this is great. Blade of the Roan King is good, right? But it's only 8% health. An 8% chance. Not an 8% chance. An 8% damage per health. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm very tired at the moment. But here it is. This is the anti-tank item that we've been waiting for. But at the same time, I feel it's just a little too strong, especially once you see the item it builds into right here. Lord Dominic's Regards. 40 attack damage, and here's the passive. Grants up to 15% damage against enemy champions with greater maximum health than you. 1.5% damage per 50 health difference, maxing at 500, with, of course, the unique passive called Last Whisper. And it's interesting, man, because I'm so glad there are so many paths to go down as an AD. This is what I've wanted for the longest time, because we all know the AD builds, and they're just so boring and predictable. But this might be a little too strong. I mean, with the Bork, you don't get the armor pen, right? With this, you get the 15% damage. The maximum health is what I'm trying to say, the Tank Slayer. and you get the bonus armor pen, Vayne AD carries are just gonna just destroy tanks. You're gonna see tanks go down like it's a Veigar taking the damage. The way these items are being played out, in my mind at least. I have the Oasis, which is another 80 support item. 200 health, 2 gold per 10 seconds, 150 health regen, 150 mana regen. Being near a minion death without dealing the killing blow grants 6 gold and 10 health. That's interesting. It includes the warding, as I said earlier. But to be honest, man, I can't wait until this hits live. I don't really like playing on the PBE, like I've stated before. I will try and get some footage out, though, today. And we'll see, man. But overall, I'm really happy with these changes, although I know, mark my words, that these items are not going to last. They won't make it to live like how they are now. It's just, it'll make the game too unbalanced. But with that, guys, I'm off. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something. I'll see you guys later. Peace.